Teacher Iman TV official. Good day, senior high school students. I am Teacher Iman, a grade 11 senior high school physical education teacher of Camarines Norte National High School. Welcome in my classroom. Our today's topic is, identifies school and community resources in case of an injury or emergency. Our lesson objectives are the following. 1. Identify the school and community resources in case of injury and emergency. 2. Describe the importance of emergency response procedures. 3. Display concern for the needs of others during injury and emergency situations, and number 4 is exhibit alertness in responding to emergency needs. Let us have the activity. This is what we called Picture Parade. I gave you 5 minutes to analyze the pictures shown in the illustration. Get your activity log and answer the following questions. 1. What did you notice in the illustration? 2. Where did you find those equipments? Very good. The pictures shown in the illustration are all about the safety supplies, equipments and facilities that could be found in our school, home, or even in our community. Aside from the picture shown in the illustration, here are the other examples of safety supplies and other equipments. Examples of safety supplies: triangular bandage, tongue depressor, wound dressing, adhesive bandage, rubbing alcohol, swabs, athletic tape, gloves, gauze, cotton, iodine, scissors, penlight, and forceps. Other equipments: spine boards, sets of splints, wheelchair, blankets, and shortboard/Kendricks poles. As we participate in physical activities, whether in school or in the community, it is good practice to know that our, or your schools and our communities, have the resources in case of emergency. Being familiar with it, we will immediately and efficiently make a response to injuries or emergencies. Thus we're lessening the severity of the injury or emergency. Resources refer to the supplies, equipment, facilities, and services that can be utilized in case of a sports or fitness-related injury or emergency. It is important that you are able to identify these resources so that injuries or emergencies will be addressed immediately and efficiently. Analyze the picture. What did you notice? What it is all about? Yes, it is all about giving first aid in an injured person. What is first aid? First aid is the immediate care given to a person who has been injured or suddenly become ill. First aid deals with self-help and proper home care, especially if medical assistance is not immediately available. The goal of first aid is to alleviate suffering, prevent added or further injury, danger, and prolong life. For minor conditions, first aid care may be enough. For serious problems, first aid care should be continued until more advanced care becomes available. According to Wikipedia.com, first aid is the first and immediate assistance given to any person suffering from either a minor or serious illness or injury, with care provided to preserve life, prevent the condition from worsening, or to promote recovery. What is first aid kit? First aid supplies or first aid kits are a combination of medical equipment, medicines and personal protective equipment. The first aid supplies or first aid kits can be designed as per the need, or based on the type of emergency the organization is dealing with. In terms of PPE, one can add, but is not limited to, goggles, gloves, surgical mask, etc. In terms of instruments, one can add scissors, tweezers, lights, thermometers, torches, cotton swabs, etc. In terms of medicines, one can add oral rehydrated salts, absorption, for example charcoal. According to Safepedia.com, first aid supplies or first aid kit are a collection of life-saving equipment that are used by paramedic staff in case or emergency to increase the life of a victim until a time when the injured can be transferred to a permanent hospital facility. According to Wikipedia.com, first aid kit is a collection of supplies and equipment that is used to give medical treatment. In your schools or community, first aid kits should be available, visible and readily accessible in case of injury or emergencies. It should be also regularly checked for completeness and freshness of supply. First aid kit usually located in strategic places in school like the clinic, gym, playground, and security stations. In the community, first aid kits should be located in the community centers like community hall of office and recreational center. Let us have an activity. This is what we called search for it. Direction. Do an ocular visit in your community hall and recreation center located near you. Look for emergency response equipments and supplies including first aid kits, spine board, and other supplies. Note down if there are signage for these and if they are accessible in case of injury or emergency. Complete the checklist and write your observations. Emergency numbers include Police Department, Fire Department, Philippine Red Cross, PRC, and other pertinent numbers. These numbers are usually compiled per area, i.e. locality, municipality, city, and written on a calling card or bookmark or even larger. In schools, emergency numbers could include the clinic, security, and other offices. Emergency numbers should also posted near phone and inside offices. It is advisable that in a gym and recreation centers, phones are visible so that school personnel or other individuals can notify pertinent offices or departments in case of injury or emergency. For schools and the community, and in any other institution, the presence of first aid kits, emergency numbers and phones, and equipment should not be the end of their emergency response. They should set procedures on how to respond to injuries or emergencies. These procedures are standard ways of responding to emergencies. These procedures make up what is called an Emergency Action Plan (EAP). It is a plan developed for immediate implementation whenever the need arises, providing appropriate standards of emergency care to all present. The EAP usually include the following: A. Emergency personnel. B. Emergency communication. C. Emergency equipment. D. Medical transportation. E. Non-medical transportation. F. Emergency contact list. G. Venue information. Emergency personnel. It is a detailed first aid arrangements for on-site emergencies, may consist of teachers, physicians, and nurses, athletic coaches, security and maintenance personnel, school or community leaders, homeowners association president. For community. Emergency communication, emergency numbers, phone/or two-way radio, public announcement, PA, system. Emergency equipment. It is all about first aid kit, wheelchair, spine board, stretcher, blankets, poles and etc. Medical transportation, confirmation of local ambulance care of PRC, basic life support, etc. Non-medical transportation, it includes wheelchairs, stretcher, and etc. Emergency contact list, must include clinic, local hospital, and etc. Venue information must have transportations, identified entrance, exits, and access routes. School personnel, for example, teachers, security and maintenance personnel, and community leaders know, understand, and follow these procedures every time an emergency happens because it is standardized. These procedures are usually laid out in writing so that personnel crucial in the emergency response are notified and that immediate attention is given. In the community, it is advisable to form a community emergency response team which will be the emergency personnel in your EAP. It is advisable that the members of the community know who forms this emergency response team. You may not know all the procedures of your school and community on responding to emergencies. However, what is important is you know who to notify in case an emergency happens. The most immediate personnel you need to notify in case you are in your school, especially in the gym, are the PE teachers or any teacher present, maintenance personnel, or security personnel. Part of the services that the school and community should offer is training their personnel and community leaders in emergency responses. This is expected since the effectiveness of emergency response greatly relies on the knowledge and skills of school personnel and community leaders in first aid and other emergency response. The Philippine Red Cross, PRC, is the national branch of the International Red Cross that cares for the wounded, sick, and homeless and now, providing help during and following natural disaster. PRC gives training on basic life support, cardiopulmonary resuscitation, PRC, first aid, and many more. The school and community should set a schedule with PRC volunteers who can impart the necessary knowledge, training, and certification to equip them in times of emergency and disasters. Once certified, school personnel and community leaders should be able to respond to injuries and emergencies. However, certification should be renewed yearly or every 2 years, depending on the type of certification. Entrance, exits, and access routes. Adequate entry and exit points should be available in all areas. Access routes, paths of travel, going to clinic, emergency exits, main gates, and others should be known. Visible and strategically located signages are important so that these can easily be seen even from a distance. These should always be accessible and free from obstructions. Wide passageways are must. A good estimate of a right width of the passageway is to check if a wheelchair, spine board, or stretcher can be easily transported and still have room for aiders or rescuers to maneuver. Ramps and elevators make access easier, and these are necessary especially for structures that are higher than 3-story. These also make transport quicker. Let us have an activity. It is what we called real-life injured situation. Analyze the case of a De La Salle University volleyball player, Kanilang. Direction. Kanilang, a De La Salle University, DLSU, volleyball player, got injured in a match versus National University, NU, in March 7, 2015. She was grimacing in pain and later reported has suffered serious injuries to her knees. Answer the given guided question. What do you think were the emergency response procedures followed by the emergency personnel who attended to her? That's all for our today's topic. I hope you have learned a lot. If you like this video lesson, please like, share, and subscribe Teacher Iman TV official, and visit my Facebook page Teacher Iman TV. That's all, thank you and have a good day everyone.
Unported.